I was expecting there to be more in this blog post, honestly. I was expecting to actually find dates or some shit about them talking about when these streams are gonna be, but I guess there's no notes yet for that. Or maybe this link's there. Guess they're just guessing. I guess I said there's gonna be D4, something really deep dive. What does that even mean, man? Like, I guess they don't have details ready yet, but it seems like they could have at least given like an example of what they're gonna talk about. Yeah, they just say that there's gonna be 2 streams of 2 hours. I really don't fully understand if they've put anything different in here. I don't think they're giving us any new information other than just telling me yet again that the game's going to get better at Copium. It's like all they said. I guess they're just hyping it by saying the streams are going to be long. Also, is a 2-hour live stream actually going to be 2 hours of them talking about the game? Because I don't think they've talked about the game for 2 hours ever. What could they have changed that they need 4 hours?
They're going to talk about all the improvements they're adding.
Okay, that takes... Okay, yeah, that... I have... Okay. I have no hope that what they're about to talk about is actually 2 hours of improvements. I think they're going to vaguely say, pat themselves on the back for an hour and a half, and then have 30 minutes of notes. Maybe. They still haven't given me any reason to believe that they're actually going to produce... and they're saying it's 4 hours, dude. 4. 2 hours of telling us how we're wrong, and they need time to fix the game. Yeah, I feel like the first 2 hours are going to give us nothing. And then the next 2 hours, they are going to reiterate what they did in the first 2-hour stream, and then give us a morsel of content. But okay, we'll turn off the Doomer take for a second, and we'll go with the Copium take. What can they do for 4 hours? What? Because to me, I've played the game. I can't even figure out what they could spend 4 hours talking about that they could have fixed. So, okay, what could they have fixed in the last month? They've been silent for a month. What could they have fixed in a month? I guess a month and a half by the time the stream comes out. What could they have done in a month and a half to the current state of the game to warrant 4 hours of live stream if it's actually 4 hours of content? Did they fix the game?
Talk about how they've uncapped they've increased the cap from 5 honing levels or upgrade levels on gear to 50, and how to compensate for that, they've increased the drop rate of materials. They're going to spend a lot of time talking about how, like, the specifics of how they had the drop rates at something before and now they're changing them. And then they're also going to talk about how, when they first came out with Nightmare Dungeons, they didn't intend them to be the only end-game system. They also wanted to have a robust bossing system, but they were unable to have the time to fully implement a reward structure for their bossing system, but they finally got that in. So for Season 2, with their bossing system, they're going to implement a currency item that allows you to go to the codex and upgrade your codex imprints such that they'll each have 5 levels to them. So you start out at the base shitter tier aspect once you unlock it, and then through this currency that the bosses drop, you will be able to upgrade your codex to where you can imprint legendary affixes just from the codex after you've improved it. And that's going to be their reward structure for bossing. And then they'll go on to say that Nightmare Dungeons are not the only in-game system they're going to have for non-bossing content, but that'll be coming in future seasons. And then they'll talk about some ideas for their future seasons, such as invading hell and growing deeper and deeper, essentially a greater rift system. And then they'll end it by telling us that we should all get some colonoscopies because it's important to maintain your health.
Okay, well, my thought is I hope they don't mention bossing at all, because that's a waste of time. I hope that they also gear upgrading would be cool if it had more to it, but I think they need another world tier to warrant that progression. I'm hoping that there is another world tier. I don't think that's enough content. I'm hoping they're going to talk about the next world tier. I hope they're going to talk about the revamp to unique items, because they're still basically a failure. So, like, I'd love to see them talk about unique items. I'd love to see them talk about what the bosses for Season 2 are actually going to have in them. But they basically, who is it? Rod Ferguson said before in their other interview that they were pretty much set on the rewards for Season 2 being that the bosses, the 5 new bosses just drop more uniques. And they can drop the Uber uniques, and like some of the Uber uniques will be moved to only these bosses.
It's such a shit fucking reward system. It's not tradable. You're forcing people into doing bossing content as the only content. And that's like that's fucking shit. That's not ARPG. That's
what they're going with. I don't think bossing should be done like at all. To me, it's a waste of time. They could just not add bosses. If I want bosses, I'll play a game where I can kill bosses. But yeah, I really hope they're going to spend at least 2 hours rebalancing fucking classes. Like, I hope they have at least 2 hours of class balance and class additions. Like, not just balance. I want new items, new skills. Like, I want basically an on every forefront of the game. I hope they're giving me expansion level content for free, because that's what it needs. This game came out in beta. I need at least 1 hour spent at least 1 hour spent on class balance, and the other hour of the class section, the other 2 hours, I want one of the whole streams to just be class balance and class additions. And then I want the other 2 hours to be end game additions and like end game additions, including all the Season 2 stuff. And then like overhauls to the current end game systems, like making the rewards actually something. Resistance rework was supposed to be in Season 2? Yes. I think they said it right down here. They're supposed to have, yeah. There'll be a revamp to element resistances, to vulnerable, overpower, and critical strike stats. By the way, I also don't... So, to me, when they say they're going to be revamping these, it means they're all getting nerfed.
Nerfed, yeah.
It means that their only solution as developers, because they pigeonholed themselves into... They basically pigeonholed themselves into the only way to get out of the situation is to dismantle all these systems and nerf them to the ground. And as players, we just have to suffer because of that. Like, we are just going to suffer to these stats being nerfed so they can fix the system. And then they're going to have to go from there, and hopefully they have something in mind to immediately remedy the nerfs. But I doubt they will. Because the other solution they could do is they could buff all the other stats in the game, but they fucking hate that. Blizzard hates that. So instead, they're just going to nerf these 3 things they've labeled here. Do the community dictate after buckets first? I mean, yeah, there are solutions, right? But I think at Blizzard, they feel pigeonholed, and the only thing that they can do to match their whatever the fuck vision they have for the game that they've been showcasing is they're going to nerf all of these things and then try to add back on top of them as content. Being like, oh guys, we gave you stuff that they're going to nerf vulnerable damage to being like 1/10 of what it was and being in another bucket. They're going to absolutely destroy it. But then later on,
in the same bucket.
in the same bucket as other stuff, yeah. But then later on, they're going to be like, oh, guys, look, we're adding a new aspect that when you overpower, it gives you 60% more vulnerable damage or some shit. And it's going to be like, oh, cool, well, we had to wait 6 months to a year to get the power you took away in one patch note. Because you can't design item stats. I guess my thought is, so my biggest issue is I think that they're going to need to spend this whole season just remedying the issues they created in season 1. Because I think we can all agree with the changes they've done in season 1 so far, they did not fix the problem they created in one patch. Nowhere close. Like, they didn't undo their nerfs. The only thing they've completely undone is the XP nerf that they created. Other than that, all of the problems that they caused with their 1.1 patch are still exactly the same. Or, like, they're not exactly the same, but they're still prominent. And it's like, I think they need all 4 hours just to solve the just to revert the changes revert the nerfs they made. Okay, maybe not all 4 hours. I think they will spend 2 hours. I'd hope they spend the first 2 hour stream somewhere in there. Maybe they TLDR it to say how they're undoing, but like that's the first thing we have to do. Like as a player base, we cannot accept them doing anything other than reverting the nerfs that happened in pre-season 1. They aren't needed. What level should you stop honing relic gear? Goes to you go to 20. Or sorry, not 20, 15. My bad. Yeah, it's 15 now. Yeah, plus 15. So you stop honing that. But anyway, they're going to spend the whole. They need to spend a chunk talking about how they're going to undo the problem they created in season 1. I don't think that they can just move past that. And I don't think as players we should let them just move past that. And I'm glad that the remaining people who are still making videos talking about every hotfix and stuff like that are reminding players that they aren't giving you anything new. They're just slowly reverting the changes that ruined the game pre-season 1 to try to keep you playing, to keep player retention at least somewhat, keep people somewhat around. Which I think most people are aware of, which is why the game is pretty dead. So that's okay. But I hope that Blizzard understands that and has solutions ready. It's like they're going to need so much. Honestly, maybe 4 hours isn't enough. Maybe they need 8 hours. Or they could do it all in 4 hours, even 2, if they just talk about what matters. I don't want to hear the vague banter. I want them to basically be robots reading off of a patch note script that an AI generated. For 4 hours. Is that unreasonable? Because I think that's what they need to...
Well, there is going to be a section where they, quote, take questions from the community.
Okay, I hope that that's 5 minutes long, because all the questions are going... Like, I guess I hope that the questions are actually taken live after they announce everything. Hopefully they're at the end of one of the streams. I bet they will be. But, like, we need at least an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes of them just saying how the game is going to be fixed. And actually providing examples, and not just, but we plan on in a future season, because of our vision of live service, providing players with insert vague idea that nobody really cares about and they're going to botch anyway. It's like, I don't know, I'm thinking, okay, I hope Season 2 has content in it, but we need so much more than the actual Season of Blood content. We need so many notes about just fixing the game. Like, I really hope that their solution isn't to try to shove it all into Season 2 content and then remove that with the end of Season 2. Like, the seasons aren't a solution to your game being bad. You have to fix the base game and provide seasonal content. That's what live service is. But does Blizzard understand that? I don't think they do. I think they think as long as they put some band-aid fixes into the season theme, they can sell you a battle pass, and then that's good enough for them. But I mean, I guess in terms of like a positive outlook for it is that resistances are actually going to work. That they actually understand why they broke resistances, even though they've stated in a stream prior that resistances aren't. They literally told us that resistances aren't broken. We just don't understand them. Yet, by all calculations, they don't understand them. So we'll have to see how they go there. But I mean, cope take the resistances will be fixed, and we can actually use it as a form of defense. And then I honestly hope that they have some bucket changes involved for vulnerable, overpower, and crit stats. I hope that they are removing at least half of the stats or condensing them to another one. They have created stat bloat, and it is not good. I hope that they are removing half of the stats at least from the game. We don't need them. And I hope that they have more plan, because I teased the gem and stash thing. They have stash can be searched and filtered. I hope we're getting more stash tabs. I hope they fix the issue where players load everybody else's inventory and stash. That should have been priority number 1 to solve game performance, dude. Like that's such a shit idea. Why is that a thing? And I hope they have more quality of life planned for the inventory than just gem stash. Like, I want glyphs. There shouldn't be a cap to glyph size in the stash. In your player stash. That's just kind of dumb. Or they at least need to double it. They need to be a separate tab than elixirs, because that's also dumb that they share the same tab. The quest tab could literally go away and become something else, or they could just have it there. But it's like they have the ability. I really hope that they've spent the last month and a half cranking away. Although, that's where it's like, when has Blizzard ever pumped out something truly amazing in a month and a half? Like, Trump, like, pumped out something truly worthy of 4 hours of talking. Have we? Would we ever have seen? But in Blizzard history, will we ever have seen something like that? I don't think so. Because they've had a month and a half, and they started hiring a whole new team to work on Season 2 a month and a half ago. What the fuck could they have done? Ethereals? I'll take some ethereals, but I doubt we're getting it.
Ethereals didn't just take a month. Ethereals took a long time.
6 months? Longer? I think it's... Well, they hired a team. I don't think it was for Season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's just what everybody's predicting, because the last season guy was no longer a part of Blizzard. The guy who made Season 1. But, you know. Yeah. I hope for these streams. My biggest issue is I don't want fluff in these streams. I want information and patch notes. Because they said that the patch notes would be coming out at least a week or two before now. I hope they stick to that. So that means that this stream has to be a week or two beforehand, or even like they're saying the stream might be on October 10th or somewhere around there, but like that means we're getting patch notes that day, I guess. I would hope. I'm hoping for concise information. Patch notes drop at the end of each stream, and then I guess it's basically the two things I need. Just give Necro movement ability, please. Thanks. Yeah, I don't really know what else they could talk about. Like, I guess maybe
I think they have mentioned in a previous live stream the word filters. So that would be nice to have, because right now sorting through gear is abysmal. So it would be nice if we could have a filter to where we can just see the stats we want.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the game should also. I think
if the game is about looking at items, or if all of your drops for your loot are items, people do not want to look at an item that has multiple lines of text to determine whether or not it's a good item. People want to only see things that they want. Like, we need a filter that is strong enough to where we can at least get the stats that we want. It doesn't have to be so strong that we can say it needs to have this amount of the stat, but it needs to at least be like, I don't want to ever see something that doesn't have vulnerable damage, for example.
I just realized this whole time I didn't have my screen showing. That's
He's
good.
a gamer.
That's good. It's fine. I've got a notepad here. We're going to notepad, boys. Alright. Diablo 4 Season 2 dev stream. What do we need?
I think we need a reason to repeatedly farm bosses, because bossing content is going to be in the game. Like, that's just, but there needs to be a reason to do it that is not the uniques. It needs to be something that is tradable, ideally, because if it's not tradable, then you're forcing people into bossing in order to acquire the reward. And it's fine to have bossing content for people that want to boss, but you don't want to have bossing be required content.
I'm not putting that at the top of my list. Bossing content's not very important to me. What's the top priority? There's gotta be something more important than bossing content.
Just put it down and you can reorder it later.
Okay.
It's a digital thing. You're not etching it in stone.
Bossing content. It's just,
I also need to address, it's like the biggest problem in D4 right now is repeatedly farming content. It feels really annoying for the purpose of the meta progression of, say, glyphs caps out very quickly. The meta progression of leveling caps out very quickly. The meta progression of gear upgrades doesn't cap out very quickly, but is annoying to sort through in order to get capped out. The 5-tap upgrade system could be improved. The reroll system needs to be a lot cheaper, maybe even more powerful. The purpose of farming bosses is non-existent currently. Like, the
resistance changes are one of them. We gotta see that.
all
Resistance changes, vuln, crit, other stats, etc. Rebalance / overhaul. Farming aspects is shit. Farming aspects is pretty... I think that the farming aspects idea was cool. I don't think it's fun. I think actually playing the game, it's not fun. Got the bossing content, we want class balance changes, we want resistance, and then all the offensive stat overhaul. What else do we want to see? I mean, I guess here, we'll divide this into... no, we won't divide it yet. I want to see... I'd love to see World Tier... I'd like to see World Tier 5. I want to see... Yeah, I just want to see World Tier 5 in a new... And... I don't have an idea for it, but an actual reason to progress into that World Tier. Re-rolling too expensive. reduce cost. I think they said this was going to be a change, that all renown was going to become permanent. We wouldn't have to farm it again. But I really hope that that's still saying a thing. I want 7 purchasable horses. Okay. What else do we got? I want to see class balance. I mean, that's just, I want to see all classes balanced. New aspects for every class. Unique, rebalance, and new uniques. Oh yeah. Rework the Obel guy. Is that how it's spelled? Obel? Is that what they're called? Obel? Yeah. I think. Barb nerfs, please. Yeah, more barb nerfs. I'd love to see them. Obel? Okay. Rework. Or introduce. I'm gonna put this at the top of the list before I forget. In new end game system that we can actually farm. Yeah. Rework the oval guy. I want the Oculus to get even worse. Yep. Seasonal. Show us, or show season 2 content. Hopefully it's good. More character power. Class balance changes kind of involves the whole, all the other things really. New / reworked skills for each class. Not really balance, just new stuff. Make, yeah, I guess we'll include that. I think that's fair. Make world bosses actually feel like bosses. I don't know what you think about it, Persnickety. Do you think world bosses need to feel more chonky? More like,
It all comes down to their rewards. If there's a reward behind them, then it would be good. Because as they exist right now, there's not really a reward for them. And like, so the fact that they're just die instantly doesn't really matter. Ideally, they would be interesting both from a combat perspective and from a reward perspective.
hmm. It was interesting to me. World bosses weren't attached to renown in any way, right? Just kind of strange. Like that would have been an easy way to tie them in with a reward. I mean, I think the most important thing, like, I guess if you want to truly build the game up from here, yeah, I'll add it. I would say that, yeah, if we truly want to build the game up from here, bossing content, there needs to be bossing content that comes out quickly, and more importantly than that, there needs to be an actual endgame system to farm. Like, an endgame dungeon system to farm. There needs to be some sort of dungeon crawling thing that feels impactful and is fun. And if you combo that with the bossing content, those are like the two pillars that you need to fix first, and then I think all the other changes below them could be looked at slower.
Ideally, there would be some PvP stuff as well.
I guess I could chat that PvP changes. I think PvP is such a meme though, because of the way that they have to. I mean, they gave up balancing it from the start, right? And they said that it wasn't going to be balanced. Like if they never,
fun.
if they
let people have fun with it.
Yeah, but if they never intended for it to be balanced past the point of you can hit another player, is there a reason to add content? Because if they add content for it, people are just going to get mad.
And you can add content for it in a way that exists outside of the current balance if you really wanted to pursue balance, but I don't even think that's required.
Delete the mods on maps. Yeah. Yeah. I guess if Nightmare we need Nightmare Dungeon changes more. More Nightmare Dungeon balance as a way to move it into a not full end game system, but it's not a full end game system, but it's a pillar to build. They're trying to say now that it's like a pillar to build your character.
If they just want it to be a stepping stone that we do for a bit to get our glyphs and then are done with.
Yeah, I think that's what they want it to be, or that's what they're saying it's going to be now. Right? That's the only angle they can take, right? From being like, oh, Nightmare Dungeons are the end game, to all of a sudden being like, oh no, we didn't say they were the end game. They're not the end game system. We got something much better planned. The only way they can then spin this now is that Nightmare Dungeons are just something that you do along the way. And then here's the giant system at the end, which is my all capitals new end game farming system. We need item filter. You said item filter, right? Loot filter. Loot filter. More
specifically, we need to make it to where we can, if a boot drops and it doesn't have movement speed, and I've set up my filter to only show me boots with movement speed, I don't even want to see that item on the floor.
Yeah, so a full-blown loot filter.
Yeah.
Inventory expansion and overhaul. Gym tab.
Also, it would be great if we could get a hideout or just a town with a better layout.
Lift tab. More elixir tab. Saying that these are things I know that the glyph tab and elixir tab are one right now. They need to be separate. And what'd you say? A town?
Yeah, or a hideout.
We were supposed to get some sort of guild building, which we didn't get. And would be great. Okay. What else do we got here? Unique says dog shit. Yeah, I got unique rebalance and new uniques. I got that in here. Because, yeah, they are pretty... They also just need to reduce the rarity on the uber unique. I think that they have an accomplishment by making their items so rare. It is not an accomplishment. It is not. That was not good design. Bring in the set items. I'm with you, dirty boy. Bring out the set items because they honestly aren't gonna do the other items right. So. What else? We got... What else can we think that we want them to talk about? I want them to talk about... Yeah, the Season 2 content is basically... Like, I want them to go over the Season 2 content and show us some footage, but I think that the Season 2 content... I'm going to say, in quotations, the Season 2 content is mostly going to end up being... Or should be fixing the base game. And, but I would hope that they have more than that. But it's Blizzard and they don't do things fast. Battle Pass buffs be less dog shit. True. Do we actually feel like the Battle Pass, the seasonal blessings need to be stronger? I feel like they could just make the base game better. But sure. Rework goblins. Did people ever find the cow level? Okay. What does rework goblins means? You're thinking, how do you rework goblins? I got no idea.
Add more types.
They're so... Dude, I hate chasing after goblins in the open world, though. It's so triggering.
I don't know. I don't think goblins are that important.
I'll put it in the list for Ziach. Add more goblins. More butcher-like events? Make a butcher goblin? Just a little guy squeaking fresh meat? Oh. Level 1. Okay. Now we cooking. I want to be chased through dungeons by a giant goblin.
Suddenly you become the goblin. You have to escape. Pressure Town portal.
Yeah. Okay. Trying to think of anything else to put here. I feel like there's more. Okay, now I'll elaborate on... Okay. I'll put this in here too. Because I think it is important. I do think it would be good to have more ways to upgrade our gear. Well, I think it'd be better to have ways to upgrade gear that isn't just click the dude smash the doot button. But if they want to just make that more doots available, then I think that you just need somewhere where you can farm the materials and it not feel super tedious, not like you're like mindlessly spending time to get one doot. You move your gear to an inventory tab. If you get put in the bag, you can crawl out into the vault. Do we think that the... So I guess my thing is... I'm going to add this in here. We didn't talk about this. I don't know if anybody else agrees here, but I think the Paragon boards need an overhaul. Through the glyphs.
The Paragon boards are extremely glyph focused. Even on classes that have good Paragon boards, like they're still pretty much just glyph forehead.
Also, can we talk about the fact that there are literally 3 glyphs for at least, or there are 2 glyphs for Necro and Sork that do not work on any of the boards? They do not hit any nodes that they can buff. Because the tagline says increase cold modifiers, but it doesn't work because there's not a cold damage node in range. I think Druid has one like that too, right? Or is Druid just actually that cracked that everything for Druid is just flawless?
I would lean on the side of Druid being that cracked.
So I know that for Necro, Necro had more boards that were good, but we still only used 2 nodes of like the 6 boards you go to, which is, I mean, I think anything less than using the legendary, if Paragon boards are successful, you would take the legendary node on the boards you pick. I think that anything less than that is showing the flaws of the system.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I think the solution to Paragon boards is just more Paragon boards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the problem is there's not enough there. But the ones that they do have right now, there is the problem of they don't feel impactful with the current glyphs. Now, I think it's a twofold problem. I think glyphs need to be changed, or there needs to be more glyphs. I think there are enough glyphs right now. I think that half of them are just kind of what the fuck, what am I looking at? And that's basically the same with the Paragon board nodes. So I feel like a lot of them are there, but not really doing anything. They're not even a meaningful, like they're not even a thought, which I don't think is good. I think I prefer they add rather than rework. Sure, yeah. I'll take more. That's fine. I would take more now than, and I guess they could look at it later when they have a bigger sample to rework. Because I guess they don't have enough stuff right now. Yeah, you're right. They don't have enough stuff right now. I would take it being looked at later to be reworked. Okay, we might need more than 4 hours, guys. They might need more than 4 hours. I'm wondering what the Season of Blood's, like, What is the content loop supposed to be for the Season of Blood? Because to me, it sounds like they're just gonna have some cringe packs of mobs spawn around the world that you beat up and give you the same loot that you would get before. But did they announce a campfire chat for this? There's going to be. They're doing 2-hour live streams sometime between now and October 10th, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I agree that they need to make. So the only issue with making alt leveling all about power leveling is that if they don't actually have an end-game system to farm once you are approaching max level, then if they do that, they're basically removing their what they would view as their content. I think that leveling to 100 should not be the content, and there should be a whole bunch of game after that. So I think I'm okay with that you should just be able to boost ults again. Yeah, I think that's more on like the smaller side changes for me. I don't know. My true wish list is the thing at the top I put in all caps. I just want a system that feels fun to farm. I don't give a fuck about so many of these other things. But I'll let Persnickety cook. Persnickety, what is your dream edition for this in this stream?
A progression system that isn't completed within a week.
Does that tie into the new in-game system? We can actually farm in all caps.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really care. Like, it could come from bosses for all I care. I would prefer it to not come from bosses, but like, if they want the focus of this season to be bosses, then like my codex thing that I've talked about a few times, or like, I don't know. I just want there to be something. There could be something completely new that is not in the game currently, and just gives us a way to farm and grind and like get rewards for longer than a week. And ideally, it would be something that is tradable, but that's it's whatever.
I think that, I mean, what would you say? Would you say if they had, whether it was bossy content or not, if they added a new farming system and comboed that with a loot filter, I think I'd be chilling for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, a loot filter would be so nice. Just to, like, currently, with Nightmare Dungeons, sorting through the loot is so bad. Like, it makes me quit the game. And if I was able to just only pick up good things, that would be so much nicer.
Yeah, I could. A loot filter could go a long way. A fucking long way. I would prefer a loot filter comboed with the game not being about looking at rare items. Just let me pick up legendaries.
I mean, with a loot filter, I think that I think it solves a lot of the loot problems that the game has.
Yeah, I guess I just don't want to set it up. Because then you'd have to be constantly tweaking it for the items that you need, whereas if you just picked up legendary items, you know that they're like...
You mean legendary items as in D3 legendary items, not D4 legendary items?
No, I mean just D4 legendary items, because if you want the aspect, you can just imprint over it or trade it to somebody else.
Yeah, but it's just a rare item at that point. How is that any different, I guess?
I guess because I'm imagining that legendaries you wouldn't get as many of.
Oh. I mean, you wouldn't get as many rare items if you were only looking at the good ones.
I guess the thing is, when you're looking at a legendary item, you're getting the twofold of oh, I'm getting to find the aspect I need and the base I need.
That's fair. I mean...
I'm okay with looking at items. I just want, when I look at the items, for the chance of it being useful to not be on the very low percentages. So, if
I'm not okay with looking... I only want to look at good items. Or items that at least have a chance to be good. And rares have a chance to be good.
Yeah.
Ideally, you would also be able to filter your aspects such that you're only seeing legendaries with the aspects you want.
Yeah. I'm also okay with the item still appearing on the ground, and then when I click it, if it's in my inventory and it doesn't have the thing, it's not highlighted.
Just automatically junks it.
No, it doesn't even need to junk it. It just won't highlight it, and I'm okay with dragging it back out of my inventory.
They have the mark as junk feature when you hover an item in spacebar it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I think that system's cringe, and they could just highlight or not highlight the item. If you open your inventory after you pick up the item and it's not the item's not outlined, how you lock an item in Lost Ark, or say select it from sort, then it doesn't. Then you can just drop it because it's not good. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having to click the item and put it back on the ground. That is fine. That is fine to me. We don't get that many items yet. Mark as junk. Yeah, they could auto mark it as junk too. That's fine. Yeah, I'm just saying that I don't think you as the player should have to hit spacebar on the item to mark it as junk. It would be cool if the filter did it if the filter wants to automatically mark as junk. Yeah. I thought you were saying you have to still go over and click it.
No,
mark it as junk.
I'm saying when you picked it up, it would automatically mark it as junk.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's basically what I'm imagining. So I'm imagining the inverse of where it just highlights the ones that aren't junk and everything else is junk. But I guess they already have the system in the game. Yeah, you could just auto mark it as junk, and then you just know to go to town. It won't. Everything else, you just dismantle it. Yeah.
Ideally, I don't know. I would like there to be a filter setting where you see the junk items on the ground, and then a filter setting where you don't see the junk items on the ground if you only want to pick up the good items.
Yeah, I think that's just harder though. That is harder for them, but I'd be okay with it too. Just give me a loot filter. That's not cringe. Give me a loot filter with settings, and we can go from there. Give the players the base, and they can tell you how to improve it from there. Just don't not try.
Yeah, don't let trying to get the perfect filter system out prevent you from getting us anything. Just give us anything, and we'll tell you how it's bad, and then you can improve it. If there's anything we love, it is telling you how something is bad.
I think that it would be... I do think, now that I think about it, it would be better to have some better seasonal blessings than what we got. Because being upwards of level 80 and unlocking increased XP at that point felt so fucking weird. Uh, only need gold because of the cringe enchanter currently. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, the enchanter costs too much. Like it's dumb how much it costs. I don't think the I got a fucking Cheerios ad, dude. And diapers ad. Pog. It's great. They still don't have any info, like any new infographics. Like they didn't have any new teasers or anything yet. Like they're talking about these streams, but like Blizzard hasn't posted any more teasers. I guess they're just waiting till it gets a little bit closer.
Yeah.
It's at the start of October. They responded that all the way back in August. Season 1's still going? Yes. Season 1 goes until the 10th? I think. Yeah, Season 1 goes until 10/10 or something like that? Or 10/12? I think we're gonna have to wait at least, I mean, they might do a stream on like the 3rd of October or something. Like that Tuesday. I don't remember what day they normally did streams. Whether it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, it'll probably be first week of October. Oh, dude, I'm going out of town at the beginning of October, and I won't be getting back until like the day before the season starts. Again, like the night before. Cringe, dude, every time. Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I mean, I'm like, they're for sure going to hit on some of these ideas that I've typed up here vaguely, just because they're in the teasers, so they've got to hit on them. I hope, but it'll be interesting to see what they've actually got in mind. I don't even know how much of the people are going to come back for Season 2. I think a lot of people were brutally scarred by Season 1. So, are they going to be able to bring them back for 2? Or is 2 going to be the one where like they're building up momentum again and you got to hope it's really good?
I think a lot of people are going to wait and see if the season is good before coming back. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I could expect this season to be the crash and burn or take off point. They had a little bit of leeway with Season 1. But yeah. I think if Season 2 is a miss, it's going to be nigh impossible to bring people back for 3. Miss me until Season 5 first X-Pack enjoyer. Yeah, I guess if they're doing an expansion a year, something we gotta wait till like middle of next year, so we would be at like Season 4, 5 for an expansion. Yeah. People could, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like they had a little bit of leeway with Season 1 because like, oh, it was finished before the game came out. That whatever kind of thing, right? But Season 2 is like, I think this is the critical. We've reached the turning point or the tipping point. I don't know which one's a better word for it, but we've reached the point where this is going to decide people like this is going to decide people's opinion of the game forever. And I think changing that public opinion will be almost impossible if it's not good. I don't think that they can have Season 2 be bad and then rebuild their momentum. I don't think Blizzard has that kind of sway anymore after all the blunders. Because I guess people were also saying that, I don't know the details, but this is moving past the D3 stuff, or D4 stuff. Apparently, WoW's also in the dumps now for some reason. Or, like, is critically bleeding retail players. I don't know why that's happening, but seen videos of people talking about it. Apparently it's really hard to get into queue for anything. Which sounds like a problem. I think most of Blizzard's issues just come down to the fact that they're very slow. And that might be just, I guess it's a corporate structure thing that leads them to being that slow. But who knows, guys? Hopefully the month and a half here, they've produced more content than they produced for a WoW expansion in 2 years, right? How long did they work on a WoW expansion? 2, 3 years? 2, 4? Whatever. The point is, I hope they got a lot ready. So we know the season's about... Okay, moving on to just the season. So we know we're getting some sort of like... I guess we're getting vampire powers. Include new vampiric powers. What do they mean when they say vampiric powers? Does that mean that I'm going to be able to like...
Give some people some suck?
Yeah, or be able to like fly at an enemy and start zucking them or something?
Am I gonna sparkle?
Am I gonna have to play the game upside down?
Well, I need to replace my bed with a coffin.
Yeah.
Coffin these nuts.
They're going to suck the money out of you? Oh. The vampiric powers are Blizzard.
God, I wish I was a vampire.
They're going to have, they're going to have the, vampiric powers locked behind the battle pass. For $60, Blizzard will come and give you the suck. Great content. I don't know, I'm imagining... I mean, there's gotta be something that's gonna be like healing, right? It's vampiric powers, there's gotta be some healing. Like, there's gotta be like self-sustained healing, using blood to using life to cast your skills or some shit. Like, maybe some quick movement, maybe some stealth. Come on, the druid power for this season has to be they can turn into a bat. I'm not talking like a big bat, I'm talking a tiny dinky bat.
A demon hunter from D3 companion bat?
Yeah. You turn into that bat.
Maybe they mean we're gonna need to get permission to go into houses. That's the vampiric powers. My thought, Ziach, is that if you are a vampire, in order to go into a house, you have to get permission every single time. Once you're in the house, you can chill. But if you ever leave the house, you always need to get permission to come back in.
Okay, but in this scenario, is the vampire still in the house when the people move in?
If the deed changes hands and the vampire's just chilling in the attic, I think he's fine to stay until he leaves again. But even if the deed hadn't changed hands, in order to get back in, he would need permission.
Yeah, but as long as he doesn't leave the house, he's chilling.
Yeah. Basically, if the family that the vampire is boarding with goes on vacation, and he orders DoorDash, and the Dasher arrives at his house and says, "Hey, can you come to the car and pick it up, please?" he's gonna have to say, "No, I can't do that. Could you please leave it by the door as instructed?"
Yeah. Oh.
It's very important.
Try ghoul set for
I
Necro.
have a
Yeah,
condition.
I tried ghoul set for Necro would be good. Yeah, they could make blood powered items pretty easily for literally every class other than Sork. I don't think Sork goes very well with blood powers.
And you could have blood powers as a sword.
But then you're just a necromancer.
I guess.
Then you're just a necromancer who shoots lightning.
And fire.
I mean, I'm pretty necromancers seem like they could do fire.
Could they?
Yeah. Blood ice? That still feels necro though. Necro does cold shit.
Blood lightning?
That sounds deadly for you. For the caster.
Dark fire.
Alright. Lightning. Okay.
Shadow flame. They already did that in WoW.
Yeah. I think there could be some cool, like a blood shield would be kind of, I guess a blood shield would kind of fit Sork a little bit.
How?
I'm basically just imagining that they just use ice and then coat it in blood.
Of themselves?
No, of the enemies.
Okay.
Give everyone blood nova. We are Sims. Blightning sounds amazing. Blightning does sound pretty cool. That's gotta be your character's name. Blightning.
The Etch is a very skilled portmanteauist.
Wait. Oh, this is actually like a magic card? Huh.
Yeah, it's there's a lot that's been done in Magic. It's probably already been done in Magic.
Cool.
There are no original thoughts. That's already been done in Magic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's basically it though for my thoughts on it about the 2 2-hour streams. I could see the potential that they might do a third one depending on how much time they've allowed, like how many days in advance they're doing these drops of the streams. Like, are they doing I guess it all depends. It's like, is it 2 streams in the same day? Is it 1 stream a week for 2 weeks? Is it 1 stream at the beginning of the week, 1 stream at the end of the week? They just haven't given any details on that yet. So, I mean, according to what they said prior, they were going to do 1 to 2 week in advance of patch notes. So that means there's going to be patch notes sometime between the 3rd of October and the 10th. They should be like, "Hey guys, here we're going to show you the things we've been working on for Diablo 4," and then they just fast forward really fast through a 10x clip, and then they're like, "Okay, now back to the real thing." So, Rod, how was your colonoscopy? Fucking. Anybody have anything good for lunch? That's just like the rest of the stream. First stream has the left half of each graphic and animation. Second stream has the right half and audio.